Hello, fabulous Aries. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of April 2014, Love Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. Well, this month, Venus will be moving through your sign for much of the month. And this is actually energy that starts off right from the word go in the month of May. And so I do think that with this energy, you get this energy about once a year or so, and this is a time when you just feel lovable. That's part of it. But more than that, when you think about it, Venus is the goddess of love, right? But when she's shown in paintings and things like that, she's usually shown laying back, allowing good things to come to her. Her power is in attraction. And so when Venus moves through your sign, it is as if this archetypal energy, okay, ultimately, which is what these ancient energies are about. They are about the human experience. They are about aspects of ourselves. And this is the aspect of ourselves that believes that we deserve love, believes that we're worthy of love, believes that life and the experience of life, the earthly experience of life, is meant to be a pleasure. That includes love, of course, but that also includes things that we consider a part of the good life. I think about this energy and I think about this idea of sort of you all of a sudden realizing that you have something that people are drawn to. And that's really it with Venus. Lots of people are drawn to her. A lot of people want her. Regardless of your gender, I think you're about to find yourself being the recipient of greater attention. What's also really good with Venus moving through your sign is sometimes associated with love or not, sometimes with this, people like to get makeovers and things like that. They tend to go really well. However, I just want you to be mindful that in the early part of this month, Venus is going to meet Uranus in your sign. And that could make for an experiment in your looks in your wardrobe that could go just about any way. And that's true also for any romantic declarations. In fact, it does look like in the first part of the month, you are the recipient of a romantic declaration that seems really to come just out of the blue. Now, what you decide to do with it, it looks like regardless of what you choose, it looks like there's a lot of mixed feelings involved in this. That's partly because we still have carrying in from last month the energy of what astrologers are calling the cardinal grand cross. And so Venus is going to get involved in this. Now, even though it's not as exact as it was, the cardinal grand cross begins to ease by the time we move into this month. Still, Venus is in her own way activating this. And I do think that considering that Venus is moving through your sign and considering that Venus is considered ultimately an energy of blessings and ultimately an energy of receiving blessings, including love blessings, I do think that whatever sort of tensions and things that felt like they needed to change and breakthroughs that you were kind of waiting to happen, it's almost as if a lot of the stuff that wasn't making a lot of sense last month, that was just simmering under the surface or just frustrating you, now you start to see how it actually can make your life better in many different ways. And that doesn't necessarily mean perfect, but it's almost as if you know yourself better enough now to maybe realize that you want something different than what you wanted before. And so those of you who are in an established bond, this configuration is likely to play out for the most part in terms of you feeling the recipient of greater attention and greater love from your partner, feeling like you want to have those experiences as well. You just kind of want to be a little bit cautious. As I said, in the early part of the month, it does look like with Venus easing towards Uranus, activating this grand cross. If you're thinking of really surprising your partner in something way, way out there, you may want to just relax a little on that, okay? Because chances are your partner has some surprises already that are going to be sufficient if you're in the mood for that kind of thing. But also the thing is that this energy with Venus moving ever closer to Uranus, meeting Uranus in your sign, can also be the revelation, can also be the breakthrough, can also be the insight that's needed to take the relationship to the next level. But what that means is to go with the flow and really trust the flow, to go with the flow and just flow along. What's also happening for you this month where it comes to love is that Mars is going to go direct. So your ruling planet Mars has been retrograde for much of the year so far, will now begin to go direct. And this Mars being a sort of a symbol of instinct, in particular, drive, motivation, instinct as to what attracts us as well. I think about this as those of you who've been waiting to make a change, maybe didn't feel strong enough, maybe didn't feel better, especially a change where it comes to your romantic life. That's very possible now. But more than that, there's an element here of you making a change that has to do with honoring your instincts or understanding why you've been attracted to who you have been, how maybe you were replaying some older scenarios, but now all of a sudden you realize, hey, I could actually go in another direction. And so those of you who are not in an established bond, but maybe there's somebody there in your sphere, I think this is the most likely scenario to play out for you, is that all of a sudden you go, oh, wow, okay, so I see why I was so drawn to you, but now I think I want to go in another direction. I think I believe I'm worthy enough to have something more closely related to the ideal. And I think I want to go in that direction instead, and to actually cultivate that bravery to take that step and to make that change. Those of you who are not in an established bond, I do think that this is a time when you're likely to attract some very attractive people and people that you like. You're likely to get a lot more attention, have a lot more people looking at you, and likely to feel that you are more beautiful than maybe you've acknowledged to yourself in a while. And that in turn makes you a lot more attractive as well. You also want to be paying attention to your attractions, especially in the first part of the month, because once we get to the middle of the month, Venus will meet Uranus and Mars, your ruling planet, is going to go direct. That is a moment of some powerful insights into where you are in love right now, whether or not you like it, and now what you need to change and what you need to do differently so that you can experience a different result. Regardless, it is an important month for you in terms of love, in terms of partnerships. Lots is going to be changing now, all moving in the direction of your greater empowerment and moving in the direction of you understanding that there is something within you that you can value, that you can prize, and that it's one thing to compromise. It's one thing to say, you know what, you are worth the work. And it's another thing to settle for less. And you know the distinction, and that distinction is about to become very clear to you. And from there, you'll be able to make decisions that really feel right in your soul. Thank you for watching. It'll be a great month. Be fabulous and enjoy.